Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV. Last time, we did some exploring, but I will admit, I don't exactly remember where we left off. Oh yeah, we just entered the new zone. That's right. We just entered the new zone. So today, we will be exploring the new zone and seeing what kind of trouble we can get into there. So, let's get going. Alright, we are live.
Let's see that moon.
It
Mhm.
hasn't arrived yet.
Oh, it hasn't arrived yet. Okay.
Oh, no, yeah.
I'm pretty sure this is Yasalani Station. But from the state of it, I'd swear it was abandoned years ago. I'm not sure what to make of this. We should look around a bit more. The building is a rotting husk. It has clearly been many years since anyone lived here. Oh yeah, I forgot Graha was here. You find a train turntable. Thick layers of rust suggest it hasn't been used in years.
There's an aether current as well that we'll want to get.
Hmm?
There's an aether current over this way.
Ah. Oh, and there's the other thing we need to click, too, so... The tracks are heavily rusted. It would seem they haven't been tended to for a long while. Find a friend, Wuklamot?
Yeah.
Finished poking around, have you? Let's gather everyone then. I want you all to take a look at this. It's one of the mechanical soldiers, long since broken apparently. But I'd say its presence confirms this is indeed Zoral Jaw's domain we're in. What about the rest of you? Did you learn anything? So all evidence suggests this is Yasalani Station. Aye, and I've no doubt we're in Yasalani, but I don't understand why these buildings are so run down. They were completed barely a year ago. For new structures to deteriorate and enormous ones to appear in a flash, if I didn't know any better, I'd say time flows differently here. Is such a thing even possible? We have encountered this phenomenon before, as it so happens. Though it may be difficult to believe, our world is but one of several. In some respects, they are similar to one another, but in others wholly different. We call them reflections. Simply put, the rift between dimensions causes time to flow at different pace in each world. While hours pass in one, years may have come and gone in another. But if this is Yasalani, then we should still be on the source. The flow of time should be synchronized. I'm not sure I follow all of this talk of reflections and dimensions, but if Erenville says this is Yasalani, then it must be. Your village is a little further along, right? Erenville. Oh, huh? Yes, it's a short distance to the northwest. Let's head there next then. Rather than talk theory, it's always better to confirm things firsthand. May I be of assistance? It's still functioning? It doesn't seem to be hostile, at least. Perhaps we can ask it some questions? Can you tell us where we are? Unable to confirm credentials. Please present citizen identification. Unable to confirm credentials. Confirm. Confirm. Seems it's broken after all. Too strange by half. Let's leave it and get going. Are those lightning rods? Those are power lines, Graha. Would you accompany me for a moment? There's something I wish to investigate. Also, it's been a while since I've seen him. Is that Graha's regular outfit, or is he wearing a different one?
I can't recall.
I guess the interwebs usually make a big deal when somebody's outfit changes, so I'm guessing
Yeah.
it hasn't, but... Look there. The lightning appears to be drawn to those pole-shaped structures over yonder. The design suggests they're some manner of lightning rod. Let's go take a closer look. Still coming? Nope, he's turning around and leaving. This material appears to be the same as that's used in the mechanical soldiers and warships. On closer inspection, it appears to bear fine etchings, rather reminiscent of arcane runes, these. I suspect they're not merely decorative. I would posit it's used to harness lightning as a source of energy. Quite impressive technology. I'll share this observation with Ishtola. For a blessing, the dome doesn't appear to interfere with link pearls. Thanks for accompanying me. Let's head to the village and find the others. if link pearls work, time flows correctly here. So,
Yeah.
need to AFK for just a moment. I'll be right back.
Me too. I'm back.
Welcome back.
Alright, I am back.
Welcome back.
What in the world? mysterious music.
Very.
My home. It's in ruins. But why? What happened here? And where is everyone?
I had a look in a few of the other houses, but they had clearly been abandoned.
Damn it all. None of this makes sense.
Excuse me? Are you looking for someone?
When the city was under attack, we saw her standing on a balcony watching us.
Yeah.
I apologize for giving you a fright. However, I did have reason to keep to the shadows. Sorolcha has told me a great deal about you.
Sorolcha?
Greetings, and welcome to the realm of Alexandria. I am Sphene, the Queen of Reason.
Queen of Reason?
If you are the Queen of Reason, is there perhaps a...
Yes, if you mean to ask if there is a King of Resolve. Zorulja holds that title, and together do we reign.
Then you're both behind the attack on Tulihiola.
And I doubt you're here to offer us a warm reception.
No, you have it all wrong. I am not come to fight. Zorulja rules alongside me, but that is a matter of expedience. In truth, we are at odds, he and I. It is at considerable risk to myself and my people that I come before you to...
Our aid? I'll admit I cannot imagine King Zorolja is keen to share and share alike. But if what you say is true, you're still...
Indeed. But I was once the sole ruler of Alexandria. Until one day, he appeared, bent on conquest. In my weakness, I feared his power. So I persuaded him to forego violence and strike a bargain. I would remain queen, and he would receive technology that would empower him to achieve even loftier ambitions, along with the knowledge to use it. A gamble, to be sure, but if it might spare...
If I may, the dome surrounding these lands was erected but recently. How is it he was able to not only invade, but instate a new system of leadership in a mere matter of days?
I've never heard of your realm. And this place is... or at least was, yes... The house I grew up in is still here. But 3 years ago, that tower and these strange contrivances weren't. Nor was our village in ruins. Where did you come from? And what happened to the people who lived here? You must know!
I realize how confusing this all must be. Truth be told, I don't fully understand it myself. What I can say is that one day, people from your Tuliolol suddenly appeared here in Alexandria. Or Perhaps it was we who found ourselves in Tully. Until but recently, we were completely unaware of events taking place beyond the barrier surrounding our realm.
Does this not remind you of the Crystal Tower? How, after the 8th Umbral Calamity, we devised a means to transport the Spire across time and space from the source unto the First. Granted, this is on a much larger scale, if that is indeed what has happened. Not only the people and structures, but also the surrounding environment. Regardless, the people of Lakeland perceived the arrival of the Crystal Tower much as the Queen describes her own experience. Sudden and inexplicable.
Well then, you appear to have a better grasp of our circumstances than we do. Indeed, more than I dared hope. In which case, a closer examination of the effects of this phenomenon may afford us more insights. Allow me to take you to the A number of the Shatona live there as well. Perhaps your acquaintances...
Hold on. If we accept, there's no guarantee.
But if we're to defeat Zorolja, we need to understand how he grew so strong. Besides...
You're right.
Queen Sphene, before we go, Your Majesty, I have to ask, did you really have nothing to do with the attack on Tulihyo?
Noble Wook Lamart, shall we I'll not deny the soldiers and airships that attacked your people are products of Alexandria. But it was Zorolja, not we, who fashioned them into weapons of war and laid siege to Tuliolul.
So he alone is to blame.
No, I may not have prosecuted this war.
Perhaps. I know next to nothing about you, let alone what you've been through. So by all means, show us around. I think we'll learn a lot from meeting your...
Wonderful. If you would follow me. Is that concern or suspicion?
Yes.
If things should take a turn for the worse, might I call upon your aid? I jest, of course, but you do strike me as the most capable here.
And just a Final Fantasy reference for you guys. The collector's edition pets for this X-Pack. The can't remember their names, but there were two of them. The Zidane and Garnet. They were the two main characters from Final Fantasy IX, and Alexandria is one of the primary kingdoms in Final Fantasy IX. And I will say, as someone who has played Final Fantasy IX, if the Queen of Alexandria is talking to us, be sus.
Ah, okay.
By the end of the game, not sus, but for most of the game, very sus. I think it goes without saying, but we're not going to trust her just like that, right? Any way you look at it, a mysterious girl who appears out of nowhere proclaiming herself a queen is suspicious.
I love as she was walking, like everybody was walking away, that Alyssa and I, well, us, are like, hold up.
Uh-huh. Well, having established that we should be wary, we could use more information. So let's head to this place, the outskirts, and see what we can learn. Perhaps about Safine as well. I will say I do not remember what the name of the Queen of Alexandria was. I'm pretty sure it was not Safine.
Whoa, it got dark.
Indeed it did. Trust you have similar farming facilities in Tyrol. They're completely different from ours. I've got no idea what all those machines do. We settled on this approach after some trial and error. The Tyrali have their own methods of farming, which they wanted to continue employing. But the environment makes it challenging. There's too much rain and not enough light. Thankfully, the use of electrope has allowed us to fortify the buildings here, as well as provide what nature cannot. What? Electrope. It's a material we use for myriad devices and applications. A topic for another time, perhaps. If you would follow me, we're nearly to the outskirts. Alizé says, I'll admit I've seen nothing particularly suspicious yet.
Here we are. Though you'll doubtless find much of what you see in Alexandria strange, the traditional agriculture practiced in this village at least should be familiar.
The music playing in background is the
Queen's Fiend?
city music
What
from
business brings her
Alexandria in
here, I
Final
wonder?
Fantasy IX.
The Queen has come!
You look well, Paquine. And Catogne, I see you've already taken to your new position.
When she introduced herself as Queen, I was expecting someone colder. Honestly, she reminds me of you, Lamachi.
Me?
It's only natural for a ruler to love her people. And I should like to know them as best I can. Even the most trifling details.
The more you come to know them, the more you grow to love them. Who they are and what they've built.
That's it. Beautifully put.
And it would appear that she is well loved in turn.
Your Majesty, you honor it. And who are these fine people?
Tuliolo's vow of resolve, Wuk-Lamat, and her... They come from beyond the barrier, but you needn't worry. They are good people.
The rumors of a link to the outside are true, then. Wuk-Lamat is... Oh, where are my manners? I am Popone, a leader of sorts, of the people living...
Papone? That is a Tonawautanritu.
Right you are. I take it you hail from this region as well? Teshpiani, perhaps?
Yes, I do. I don't suppose you know a woman...
Kakiwa. I'm afraid I'm not sure if I've ever met someone with...
Oh. Mother isn't here. But it's a relief to know at least some of the people of Via.
Your mother, you say? Now that you mention it, I do see the resemblance.
You know my mother?
I do. Yes.
Then tell me, please, where...
I cannot say. Not here, but I promise I will.
I have a question, Pepone. Do you recall what happened the day the dome first appeared?
The barrier? I remember fixing a shelf that had collapsed after a terrible earthquake. Then the ground began to... Forgive me, my recollection of it all is
You needn't push yourself, Popone. After 30 years, no one could blame you for not...
30 years!
Absurd though it may sound, there is no doubt in my mind the events that led to the joining of our lands occurred 30 years ago.
Which is not to say I understand why our perceptions of the intervening time are so radically different. We only just became aware of the discrepancy when Zoralja's military base was completed, and we were at last able to venture beyond the barrier.
I believed you long dead. To have the chance to kill you myself is an unforeseen blessing.
"30 years. Little wonder Zoralja assumed our father had already passed.
It's not unlike how time passes differently in the First and the Source. The fluctuating space of the rift between them disrupting temporal equivalence. Perhaps the same holds true here, and time flowed faster within the dome. I cannot say for certain, but I strongly suspect that to be the case. And based on the Queen's account, this encampment may have come to serve as a physical bridge between the two planes, after which the dome was forced into the Source's temporal flow.
If we're to be certain of anything, we need more information. Sveen, would it be all right if we had a look around and spoke with the townspeople?
By all means.
Time to see what we can see of Alexandria, then.
And its people. I may yet find familiar faces among the survivors from Yasolani.
Even if I don't understand the half of it, I would learn more of this place before we confront Zoralja.
Perhaps you'd care to see how we make our living. Though we have always prided ourselves on the use of traditional Tonawatan farming methods, the use of electro-fueled technologies has led to
I would join you as well.
Ma'am, please, you needn't.
It's no trouble at all. And I promise not to cause any manner of distraction.
Reassuring words, or they would be had I not heard them countless times before. Very well, but do be careful.
Of course. I shall proceed with the utmost care. Now then, if you two would follow me, we can begin the tour.
I can't say that I trust her yet, but I trust that her affection for these people is genuine.
Did you guys get the eighth right?
Oh, I forgot.
But yes, KJ, I am also very interested in why everyone seems to have some kind of computer device attached to their head, except the Queen.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Even
You know,
Zeralja. Even Zeralja has one.
yeah, he did. Does, yeah. It's just like programming chip, keep track of you, you know, Big Brother, all that crap.
And I think she sounds a little more like Alice.
I was hearing that too at the end, but in the beginning, it sounded to me, I thought it was Cryo speaking more. But I don't know. Because a little bit, not the English type accent, but anyway.
It is not the same person, so.
Okay.
Electrope has done much to improve the efficiency of their farming, but hasn't replaced everything. The people wanted to preserve their old way of life, and we did not want to force ours upon them. You went to such lengths so that our cultures could coexist, even going so far as to learn our tongue. I'm sure everyone appreciated that. Communication was thankfully not an issue, for the Turali tongue is surprisingly similar to Alexandrian. Of course, there are words and phrases for which there is no equivalent, but those can be taught with minimal effort. Through mutual respect, understanding, and patience, we Alexandrians and Turali have learned a great deal from one another. And I am sure there is much much you wish to learn as well. So please, if you have questions, do not hesitate to ask. Rather than bore you with lengthy explanations, let us head back to the farm we passed earlier. Yupye's Hollow, it is called. We could speak with one of the farmers when we arrive. I guess we're off to Yupye's Hollow. Halo. Halo, it is Halo. Allow me to introduce you to Mahusa, one of the most experienced farmhands in all of Alexandria. She's well versed in myriad farming techniques. Indeed, the wealth of knowledge she has shared with the other farmers is what has allowed this place to flourish. Oh, that's probably what the little chips are. That's how they share knowledge. She's mentioned that several times. Sharing knowledge. Like, they shared knowledge with Zeralja. Queen Sphene, to what do we owe this sudden shower of praise? My apologies for the interruption. I am come with guests from beyond the barrier. They wish to learn more of Alexandria, and so I invited them to see how our crops are grown. I do hope that's all right. So the rumors of visitors from the outside were true. What manner of hosts would we be to deny them a look around? And I gather your majesty also intended to check on things here. You know me too well, Mahuasa. I thought to seize this opportunity to see how the farmers fare, and perhaps pepper them with a few questions, though I do so enjoy observing and taking part in the work too. It would appear we have her permission, so please, walk the grounds to your heart's content. You go on ahead. I'll keep Sphene company. Don't misunderstand. I'm not the suspicious type. But given our positions, it would make sense for us to go around together, wouldn't you say? A fair point. But be sure not to let me out of your sight. I shall remain under Wuklamat's watchful eye. Pray, come find us after you've seen your fill and spoken with the other farmhands. And I would say if they all have computers on their heads that they use to share knowledge, there must be a central source, a big computer somewhere.
Yeah.
Because I will note when Galul Jaja killed Zaral Jah, something else took over.
Yeah. There's that big tower back there that we passed when we first came in here.
Could be. Light levels appear to be fine. As for the power source... You wish to know about my job? I tend to the fields mostly, watering crops, keeping the soil fertile, and so on. It admittedly took some time until I fully understood how best to carry out my duties. I also manage the lamps we use in the fields. We do our best to keep everything up to code, but should they ever start to malfunction, it's up to me to fix them. The land and sky being what they are, ensuring a rich harvest makes for constant work. But honestly, I enjoy how involved the process is. Both my parents being Alexandrian, I didn't grow up knowing much of anything about farming. Every day is an opportunity to learn and grow. Oh, an unfamiliar face. I gather this is your first time on site, then? Well, this here's the storehouse, or rather the entrance. The real storehouse is underground, much more spacious and equipped with a temperature regulation system to keep the harvest from spoiling. Since the entrance is so small, it's much easier to prevent wild beasts from wandering inside, which also makes it a viable facility for breeding and raising livestock. We've even got a few beds down there for emergencies. My parents often complain about how Alexandrian technology and electro complicate our lives, but it's just a matter of learning how things work. Take my job, for instance. I'm presently overseeing the storage of harvested crops. They'll be taken up to the tower for processing, and from there find their way to every dining table in Alexandria. The work is hard, I'll not deny, but I take great satisfaction in what we do. I'm also, if this all took place 30 years ago, I'm waiting for somebody who rode that train in here 30 years ago to recognize us.
Yeah.
They're saying that you and yours are visitors from beyond the barrier. That true? So it is. Which means we're connected to the outside world again. Not that I have a desire to leave, mind you. I'm quite content with life here in Alexandria. But setting that aside, you're here to observe our work, right? As you can see, I'm in charge of livestock. Here at Yepel's Halo, we produce not only fruits and vegetables, but also meat, poultry, and eggs. Tending to the animals is an absolute joy. But I have to be careful not to grow attached. It's always a little sad when they're shipped off, but a job's a job. Well, I need to get back to it. But it was nice talking to you. Please give my regards to the Queen. They appear to be raising dodos. Or something dodo-like. I would say their crop fields are not nearly dense enough.
Yeah.
I see. Don't be too hard on yourself. Anyone would have been hard-pressed to deal with such a thing. Oh, welcome back. My apologies for failing to notice your return. I gather you've had your fill of speaking with the farmers? Then let us return to Mahusa.
They could be supplementing it with some soylent green and soylent red and stuff.
Well, what are your impressions of the farm? I was amazed that everyone loves their work. A curious observation. Do you not love your own work? Oh, but I jest. It's true that people on the outskirts seem the most fulfilled. Always they take their duties with good cheer. And what do you think of our little tour, Lamati? What did you call me? Was that inappropriate? My apologies. I heard the others call you by that name, and I thought... No, it's fine. As you said before, we've no need for titles and formalities. As for my thoughts, I was very impressed. That machines could be used to overcome such harsh an environment is amazing. I've never seen anything like it. The feeling is understandable. Indeed, many still find the machinery behind me baffling. It's a system that controls the distribution of water for the fields and livestock. It's been acting up lately, though. Acting up, you say? You needn't worry, my queen. It happens fairly often. Put simply, it's taken in the water. It's taken in water that had strong lightning charge. We think some creatures have become charged up with the energy, and they're releasing it into the river we use as a source. The system would return to normal if the creatures were dealt with, but I'm reluctant to beg it of the army. We could take care of it if you like. It is most gracious of you to offer, but it's much too dangerous. Oh, it's no trouble for the vow of resolve of Tuliolal. Regardless of how the relationship between our nations may develop, if there are people in need, I want to help. Simple as that. And he is even stronger than I. It shouldn't take us long at all. Then very well, I gratefully accept, but please take all care. This ought to go even faster if you and I search for lightning-charged fiends on our own. Good hunting. Luke Lamont already forgetting that she's not allowed to go places by herself. Well, I can see why they would be getting a lot of lightning aspected ether out of that. Oh, did you not get credit for it, Emo?
No, I thought I didn't, but it was someone else fighting it.
Ah. Ah, you're both all right. Thank goodness. You really needn't have worried so much. We barely broke a sweat dealing with the fiends. They're all gone now. Of course I was worried. You're my dear guests. But thank you. We truly appreciate this. Indeed. With this, we won't have to ask Sir Aljaw's machines for help. He's been making a concerted effort to bolster his forces, sparing but a fraction for the people's protection. He thinks nothing of our safety, unlike Queen Sphene. But that's enough, Mahwisa. If you have grievances, I will hear them later. But to speak of the king now... No, she's right. He's never been one to look after his people. Anyway, thanks for letting us tour the farm. The folks here are delightful, and it was a pleasure to meet them. You couldn't have favored us with more uplifting words. My people are my pride and joy. And you never fail to let us know, no matter how much, nor how much you care. Of course, you're my precious family, all of you. You seem a good sort, Sphene. That I'll admit. But you'll forgive me if I'm not ready to lower my guard for the enemy queen just yet. For you to be called that, I dread to imagine what villainy your majesty has committed. Come now, this is no laughing matter. A ruler is responsible for the welfare of countless lives, and one wrong decision can lead to untold suffering. Failure is unconscionable. Now, I believe we are done with the farm. Let's move on, shall we?
Okay, her body, like, model is the same as Meteon's. Because the last, like, move she made was often done by Meteon, I remember.
Gotcha. Perhaps we should head back to the outskirts. I dare say your friends will also have returned by now. My thanks again for dealing with the fiends. Come and visit us anytime. Accidentally clicked out of the window.
I thought I was DC'd. I was like, oh crap.
You hear that?
What's happening over there?
It's nearly time.
Ominous.
I'm glad you could make it.
Are you with us?
Queen Sphene has come to see you.
We're here, Namika. Everything is going to be all right. Oh. What's the matter, dear?
It can't be. That's the bangle I gave to Nami.
You know her?
Of course I know her.
I see. She was always willing to lend a kindly ear to others, but rarely did she ever speak of her.
Is it really you?
She must have arrived shortly before the barrier manifested. For us, it was perhaps days.
Namika, it's me. Wuklama.
I'm afraid her time with us is nearly at an end.
Has she no more soul cells?
She always used hers sparingly, but at her age, it wouldn't make a difference.
Ma'am, The ushers have arrived.
Thank you, Namika, for your many years of friendship. Take comfort in the knowledge that this is not the end. Be not afraid. Your memory will live on.
Living on in memory. The giants share a similar belief.
Yeah, I think they might be a little more literal here.
Wait, where are you taking her?
Worry not. She is being escorted to a medical facility in the tower. There we will ease her burden. I had hoped to make arrangements for her sooner, but she wished to remain here for as long as possible. I could not bring myself to refuse.
Is there any way I might stay? We may not share the same blood.
Let us give them some time alone.
She didn't speak, but I'm grateful that I could be with her at the end. Thank you.
It's not the end.
Hmm?
Oh, nothing. I was just thinking that we have much to discuss. Where shall we begin?
With what we can be reasonably certain of. Between what we have witnessed and the testimony of Alexandria's inhabitants, it's safe to say that two distinct lands have indeed become one. What's more, having met Namika, there is no denying the divergence in the passage of time. Taken together, these phenomena strongly suggest that some manner of cross-rift displacement has occurred. Specifically, the displacement of Alexandria from another reflection to the source.
It does seem the most likely explanation.
What perplexes me, however, is the scale of said. In essence, we are dealing with a localized
Did not mean to
instance
skip
of
that.
dimensional compression. The Ascians would no doubt liken it to a rejoining. Which invites the question, how was such a feat accomplished?
I wish that I had an answer for you, but this talk of reflections and dimensions is well beyond my understanding. I can only tell you that we lived peacefully under the barrier's protection for many, many years, until the day that peace was suddenly broken.
If I may clarify, the barrier predates Alexandria's displacement.
By several hundred years, yes. To when the continent we call home was ravaged. The barrier was erected to isolate us from the surrounding land's noxious influence.
I see. And it was only later that it was whisked away, along with its contents, by means un...
In other words, Sphene's as lost as the rest of us, right? The Alexandrians didn't mean to end up in Tural.
But of course, our next stop ought to be Everkeep. That tower over yonder. Once you have been registered as my guests, you will have access to Solution 9 and its residential district, where you will doubtless gain invaluable insight into Alexandria's state of affairs. Unfortunately, I cannot take you directly to where Zoraljar.
That you'd let us in it all goes a long way toward proving you're not content to let Zoralja do as he pleases. But we're not talking about a simple difference of opinion here. I've come to avenge my father. And to do so, I intend to take Zoralja's life. Are you willing to stand by and allow Alexandria's king to be slain?
A fair question. Permit me to answer it thus. My people come first. Their welfare is paramount. I will do everything in my power to keep them from harm. It is a ruler's duty. Now, I am off to register you at Everkeep. It may take some time, but you shall find the entrance open to you. Oh, and ere I forget, your mother, Kafkiwa, you might try the Thunder Yards to the east.
The Thunder Yards? Is that where she is?
I'm afraid I can say no more than that. Make for the Thunder Yards, and all will be made clear.
It's not as if we have other pressing business. Not until we can get into this Everkeep, anyway. Thank you for earlier. And for being a friend to Namika these past 30 years. It means a lot to me.
Namika? I'm sorry, but I don't know who you mean.
That view of Kryl was very weird.
What? We were just with her. If this is some sort of a...
I don't mean to give offense, but I honestly have no idea who you are talking about. I'm sorry.
How can you not know who she... You're in charge here. She was under your care.
Then in all likelihood, my memories of her have been stored in the Any person seemingly forgotten without reason is probably there, in the cloud. Oh, I really must be getting back to work. If you'll excuse...
creepy.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
We can't have our citizens being upset, so when someone dies, delete them.
Yeah.
Yeah. In the cloud.
Uh-huh.
Utopia.
And he did not do any attempt to explain what that is.
Exactly.
I'm surprised he has recollection of what it is. Like, I'm surprised they know that that's what it is. That
Or
happened.
that they allow him to even remember that. And
Yeah. I would imagine that it's difficult to get everything. So you're always going to notice something. Like, you walk past a house, like, wait a minute. That's a house. People live in houses. That house hasn't been abandoned forever. Why is it abandoned?
Yeah.
Also, I loved when they were going through doing a close-up of everybody's face to show how shocking and weird that was. And then they got to Kryl and her weird little Lalafell face, like it was being viewed through a fisheye lens or something.
I noticed a lot more eye movements. Like when we first met the queen, I distinctly, mine was like I looked up and down her. It was just funny.
I've mostly been following the eye movements from the queen herself. She does a lot of side-eye stuff. And she closes her eyes and then opens them as if she's resetting her emotions or something.
Yeah, because her tone of voice changes too.
What's going on? How could Papone suddenly forget about Namika? It's as if he never knew her. Could the same thing have happened to others as well, I wonder? There's only one way to find out. Let's make inquiries after Namika in the area. We can reconvene afterwards at the Aetheryte. Honestly, I'm surprised they got Erenville on board for that. Seeing as how the queen just told us where his mother is.
Oh, yeah. Maybe. That was very ominous, too.
Yeah. There a reason why you teleported to the outskirts, KJ?
Yeah, at one point it was closer.
I'm pretty sure that made you go backwards from where we were.
Actually, if I didn't have to stop and try to talk, I could have beat y'all here.
Well, I will admit, I came around a corner into a dead end and had to climb over a house. An old woman named Namika? I'm afraid I don't know that person. Sorry, I couldn't be of any help. I do recall caring for someone until recently. You say it was a woman named Namika? While I can't say for certain if it was her, I wouldn't worry. I'm sure she's just been taken up to the cloud.
What was the thing they were talking about with the cells, too?
Soul cells?
Yeah.
Soul cells. I was just going to say something about that. I was like, yeah. Is that where everybody's souls? I don't know. And the thing is, when they were fighting also, the robots, they were collecting souls.
Indeed, you were correct. I forgot about that.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
right.
What's that? Do I know a Namika? Never met anybody by that name. And I've worked in the outskirts for a good while now. If you'd spent time here, I would remember.
Last week I was wondering if that's like their power source or whatever, or like, you know, protoculture or something.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I did note during the Gulul Jaja Zoralja fight that Zoralja looked different. Like his skin tone had changed. But I kind of just thought it was, you know, cyborg Zoralja, not Zoralja older, much older. So it was the same for everyone. Not a single person remembers Namika. It's as if the memory of her has been purged from their minds. While such a thing might be done with magic, to alter the memory of so many at once would be a tremendous undertaking. We would have felt a surge of ether corresponding to the act, too, and I sensed none of it at the moment. Neither did I, but I did notice something else. Right before Popone seemingly forgot, a light in the device of his head began to blink. Could there be a connection? Someone also said something about soul cells? But who might we ask about this? If we continued making such inquiries, I expect we would only cause confusion. Indeed. If we can't readily solve the mystery about Namika, perhaps we could search for Kashua instead? Safine said to try the Thunder Yards. It should be in this direction. Creepy robot face. Impossible. Another kind of mechanical soldier? It looks dangerous. We'd better destroy it. Should we give chase? I think it understood our words. It might be worth asking its questions. Erinville, are you all right? You look like you've seen a ghost. It's nothing. I'm fine. Well, it went off in the direction we're headed anyway, so let's try to track it down.
This looks like a breadcrumb trail of people.
Like, we don't need to talk to them, but I decided to stop and talk to them.
No, I agree. It's interesting sometimes. It's just funny that they do the breadcrumb.
Yeah, I just saw Alizé standing on top of a rock. I'm like, why is Alizé standing on top of a rock? Okay, that time was funny. I got to Kryl, went to click Kryl, and clicked myself, or clicked my pet. Then I panned around and clicked Emo, and then panned around again and clicked Zora, and then...
Well, when I tried to click, I clicked on you and you were staring at me. So you think he kind of got all of us too.
Yeah, I probably did.
Us.
Oh no, I wonder if his mom is that robot.
Possibly.
Based on what he said.
Downloading as.
The robot did say it's impossible.
Yeah.
Or she's been building robots.
Ooh. Rebellion. I mean.
You found it? To the northeast. They must be bound for the mines. Come on then. It could well be a trap, so let's not rush in too quickly. I heard faint voices coming from inside. So it's not alone. We're still going in, of course. This may be a trap. Be ready for a fight, everyone. Yeah, the robot looked real dangerous, Wook Lamont. Aether current. That I'm not sure it was possible for anybody to miss. Y'all having some lag tonight?
Yeah.
I saw Emo freeze over in the entrance to the cave, and then rubber band over to where we were, to the at the Aether current. I can hear them. Several people up ahead. Can't make out their conversation with the echoing. Let's keep going. Stay on your guard. I like that Aaronville with his bunny ears can hear better than the rest of us.
It's true.
What is this?
I Fernville!
A trap?
It really is you!
Huh?
Who?
I just had to get a look at you in the light, and I can still hardly believe my eyes. But it is you,
My darling, what now?
Oh, it's so good to see you, my fussy little bun bun. But what are you doing here? What brings you all the... Why the long face? Aren't you happy to see me after all this time?
I'd know that laugh anywhere.
Wait. Since when was your mother a weird floating thing?
And what have we here? Say, aren't you Galoo Jaja's kitten? I knew I recognized that adorable fuzzy face. Ella Nesphere was always so excited whenever you invited him over to play.
I can't say that I do, but you know my father?
Appearances notwithstanding, it would seem this is my mother.
I'm sorry?
Oh, this won't do. Come in! Friends of my Ella Nesphere are always welcome.
All I ask is a little forewarning, but no.
Unlike our previous blue-haired person, this person is much more blue-haired.
I thought I was starting to get a handle on this place. How are things still getting stranger?
I think we're instanced.
Mm-hmm.
Kryl said something stupid.
Yeah.
Well, I'm talking to Aaronville. As far as I can tell, this is indeed my mother. I could think of few people in the world quite so spirited. But as to what's happened, we'll need to talk to her. Let's hear what she has to say. It's so wonderful to meet you all. And the students of Baldessian. It's been a while since I heard that name. Dare I ask the reason for your appearance? Oh, this? It's just a body that I control remotely. I use this for our operations. We're members of a resistance organization. Oblivion, we call ourselves. And our goal is to thwart Zoralja's ambitions for conquest. As the leader, it's prudent that I remain where I can't be easily found. I see. Whimsical appearance notwithstanding, yours is a serious cause. Right you are. Though, truth be told, Oblivion was founded for an altogether different purpose. And that is? As I expect you've already noticed, everything you see within this dome, the buildings, the people, the very earth beneath our feet, is a fusion of two worlds. Stopping such a fusion was Oblivion's original mission. And does that mean you know who or what is responsible for it? I'm afraid not. This was a long time ago, and our mission statement has become more of a legend that's passed down to members. By the time we joined, our sole objective was stopping Zoralja. The organization was originally founded to prevent the Asians from doing a rejoining, is what it sounds like. But we failed to do that, and now he's taken his army outside the dome. None of you wear those strange devices on your heads. Does that have something to do with your work? You mean this? It's a regulator, the pinnacle of electrope technology, and that we don't wear it is indeed related to our operations. What exactly does it do? Allow me to explain. Character whose name we don't know, but the thing tells us anyway. Regulators have two primary functions. The first, as the name suggests, is the regulation of the wearer's reserve of souls. Should they die, the regulator expends a soul to bring them back to life. Ah, that's how Zoralja came back. Reserve? You mean people walk around carrying spare souls? They do. Souls are packaged in cells, and they can be used to replenish the life force that is lost due to sudden death, such as accidents. They do nothing for those who die of old age, though. Distribution of soul cells is based on one's work evaluation, to encourage exemplary performance when fulfilling their duties. Souls is a common resource in payment for services rendered. Now we know why the farmers were so happy at their work. The void scent practice of consuming others for their ether comes to mind. And similarly, I expect that the act comes with some risk. Hello, Zero. I'm going with, wouldn't the consciousness of others corrupt your own? That is prevented through memory management, a process in which regulators also play a role. memory management than the reason everyone has forgotten Namika's existence. The regulators are constantly recording the memories of the wearer, so if they should suddenly die, their memories can be refreshed as part of the restoration process. This is how they preserve one's identity and sense of self. However, the regulators are also triggered when someone else dies. Reason being is that regulators forcibly extract memories related to the deceased from anyone wearing one. Why would they do such a thing? It's a kindness bestowed upon the people of Everkeep's core system, so that no one has to suffer the pain of loss. So that is what is meant by their memories being in the cloud. Indeed, all memories of the deceased are wiped from the minds of people and archived in the system. It's a frightening function of the regulators, and an integral step in soul cell production. You see, when a person dies of natural causes, their soul is temporarily housed within the regulator. It's then delivered to a facility where memories are separated from the soul. The result is a fresh soul cell, free of impurities, ready for distribution and consumption. Meanwhile, the memories are stored in the core system to be remembered forever. And this is why people are happy here. On its surface, it's similar to the Yaqui philosophy, but I see nothing noble or comforting in it. Well, it doesn't seem so terrible to me personally. All comes down to what you're supposed to, or what you're used to, I suppose. Like the barrier encasing Alexandria. The system was created to overcome the calamity that transformed the world hundreds of years ago. Amidst the mounting death toll, scientists use electrope to devise a means to save what lives, so they could, to save what lives, or save what lives they could, so that the nation could endure. I understand the people of Alexandria did what they believed was best to save their people. I just find it hard to believe the Turali would also accept this way of living. It came as a shock to us as well. In fact, a great many were opposed to it. Which is why the use of regulators was never compulsory. The people have always been free to go without them if they so wish. Sphene didn't strike me as the sort of ruler to impose her will on others. Oh, you've already met. She's the one who suggested we come to the Thunder Yards in the first place. She also said she wants to help us stop Zoral Ja. Awfully kind of her to point you in my direction, and to speak so candidly as well. Whatever her motives, she has given the people a choice. Live with the risk of true death or the security of the regulators. Everything that lives must someday die. That is the natural order of things. Quite right. But, however you feel about them, it would be easier to understand what the regulators are capable of if you saw it for yourself. I know just the person to show you. And as luck would have it, they should be starting work right about now. Who are we going to see exactly? Come with me and you'll find out. Okay, if anybody who spoke to Geode on the way out, his comment is a reference to Final Fantasy X.
Oh, okay.
There is an area in Final Fantasy X that is very similar to this area that we're in, with all the lightning and the lightning rods all over the place. And there is an achievement in Final Fantasy X to dodge 300 lightning strikes in a row. So that's what Geode's comment was about dodging lightning by jumping back and forth.
Hmm.
The main problem was the game is so old it doesn't count for you. So you have to keep count yourself. I gave up after about 20. Everyone here? Good. It is the responsibility of the Thunderyard's hunters to fell any fiends found wandering this area. We're to meet an acquaintance of mine, Stricka, one of these hunters. Need just a moment.
I'll be right back.
Alright, I'm back.
Emo's AFK.
Alright.
I'm back.
Welcome back. Joshua, what are you doing here? And with so many friends? Apologies for the interruption, but I was hoping they might observe you at work. Hunting, you mean? It's fine, I guess. Hold on. I assumed they were wearing special regulators like Queen Sphne's crown. Ah, so she is wearing a regulator. But they aren't wearing anything at all. It's much too dangerous to be out here without one. What if they're struck by lightning or attacked by beasts? I can assure you they're all quite capable of looking after themselves. If anything should go amiss, I will take full responsibility. Well, don't say I didn't warn you. Danger aside, there isn't really much to see. Kashwa said you're a hunter, but wouldn't it be easier for those mechanical soldiers to guard this place? It would, if not for the fact that they're weak to lightning. The Thunder Yard being what it is, they've been ordered to steer clear. Some good they are, right? But the facilities are vital for the upkeeping of Alexandria's infrastructure, so it falls to hunters like me to deal with any fiends. Given the danger, we're well compensated for our work. It's a perfect profession for anyone looking to build up savings. The special selection of souls for hunters isn't terrible either. I brought this lot here to see this danger you speak of. It's not too much trouble to ask. Oh, of course. In which case, it'd be a shame to waste my efforts on just any old beast. You all can handle yourselves in a fight, right? If you cause a ruckus slaying what critters that you see nearby, there's a chance you'll draw out something worthy of demonstration. I'm not sure I understand, but I suppose we should each slay what we can. It would be nice if the game actually made them weak to lightning.
Or if we had some kind of call lightning spells, you know.
Do you not?
Not quite the same thing.
I guess you guys have wind, not lightning.
Yeah, we got wind, earth, and fire.
It's red mages that have lightning, isn't it?
I think so, yeah. It's been a long time. I got fire once or twice. Oh.
I thought this big purple thing was a portal. I've seen too many void portals in WoW, I guess.
Oh, that was enough for something.
This one will do nicely. We'll help you. It's fine, really. I've faced worse. Just watch. I don't like the looks of this. Let's help. Have we all forgotten the raging monster standing right there?
Uh-huh.
That was embarrassing. Bastard caught me off guard. Are you mad? Seriously, let us help. I told you not to worry. This will only take a moment.
So kind of it.
Just like Zoral Ja. Come on, let's get out of here. There's also a... That's also a function of the regulator? I would imagine it's burning a soul as fuel to increase your power or something.
Yeah.
I think I understand now how Zoral Ja was able to return from the dead and defeat Papa. But I'm not sure what we saw at the end there. As soon as the regulator turned red, it was as if you were possessed. Your movements became beast-like. Don't tell me you empowered yourself with the soul of a beast? I'm reminded of the serpentine soldier we encountered at Vanguard who did the same. So you've crossed paths with one of the king's elite. Such a form can only be achieved from gorging yourself on souls. We could do the same in theory, but it's incredibly dangerous. Besides, it's not as if they'd allow hunters to carry that many souls to begin with. Now, I should be getting back to work. Take care. And there you have it. Regulators can be loaded with two kinds of souls. Those of peoples and those of beasts. Souls of people can be used to grant the user's preternatural strength. Naturally, they can also be used to ensure no one suffers an untimely death. And what about the souls of beasts? They work much in the same fashion, imbuing you with the strength of the chosen animal. If, for example, you use the soul of a wolf, you would grow more agile and feral, as you saw with Strika. Using several of the same type at once, however, would result in physical changes. Your teeth would become fangs, your nails claws. Too many, and you would become more beast than man. Changing one's forms through the souls of other beings becomes more and more reminiscent of Void Scent. Yet unlike the Void, where the cycle of death and rebirth is simply broken, souls here are forcibly taken before they might reach the ethereal sea. Different means to achieve similar ends. A cycle to which all within the dome are bound. This is wrong. This is all wrong. It is indeed hard to accept, being so far removed from our own beliefs. Perhaps more shocking is the technology to achieve all of this was developed hundreds of years ago. The civilization and the reflections are surprising indeed. Erenville says, Speen speaks of lived experiences that suggest she's far older than she appears. Considering the power of these regulators, perhaps it's not so far-fetched. Graha says, when Emmett Selk spoke of surprising civilizations on other reflections, I wonder if he had Alexandria in mind. While we all have our thoughts on souls, for now the important thing is we know what power Zoral Ja has at his disposal. It is one thing to separate corporeal ether from incorporeal ether, but to strip memories from the soul entirely is unprecedented technology. This is no longer Tuliyolal's concern. With his newfound power, Zoral Ja has become a real threat to the entire world. Indeed, he has to be stopped, no matter the cost. I trust you've gained an insight into the use of souls in Alexandria. It's shocking, I know. I was overwhelmed myself at first. I expect you'll need some time to digest it all. But for now, let's head back to Earth and Sky. At this rate, there's something I want to discuss with everyone. Let's take a moment before we head into the tunnel. I'm sorry for delaying us, but I have some thoughts I need to share. In both technology and values, it's plain there's a wide gulf between Tuliyollal and Alexandria. And while Zoral Ja knows everything about us, we know hardly anything about what he's become. Indeed, we haven't seen what lies within that enormous tower, Everkeep. So here I'd like to make a proposal. This is, we work with Kashwa and her people. We need to learn as much as we can about the enemy. The quickest way would be to join hands with Oblivion. We've only just met them, I know, and we shouldn't be too quick to trust. But the fact remains that they share our desire to stop Zeral Jah. Sphene, too, claims to be at odds with the King of Resolve. May I ask why you would cooperate with Oblivion instead? It's simple. Their leader is Erenvil's mother. Meanwhile, whatever Sphene may feel, she's the ruler of this nation. There's a greater risk in working with her, and less reason to take her at her word. A fair point. And knowing Zeral Jah, we must assume that his arrangement with Sphene was not made without some consideration. All I know is that it would be heartening to have allies in this strange realm. I think everyone would agree that any help we can get would be welcome. Hold on. There's no guarantee that it's actually my mother behind the machine. Without seeing her in the flesh, we can't rule out the possibility of a ploy. If it turns out to be a trap, we endanger not only ourselves, but everyone in Tuliolal. As you say, we have no proof that it really is Kashwa. But I make my proposal in full awareness of this. Whether we're going to war or striving for peace, we need to learn as much as we can. Otherwise, we can't hope to do anything meaningful. As it stands, we know too little about this realm, and we need to remedy that. We need to study the enemy, and when the time comes, strike down Zeral Jah for good and all. What's more, I trust you, Erenvil. You've always had great instincts, honed from your time training under your mother. What if I'm wrong? What if sentiment is clouding my judgment? I'm going with option 1. If it's a trap, then we'll deal with it when it's sprung. That's always the way of it with you. Fine. If you're set on this, then I'll say no more. Then it's settled. Let's head inside and secure ourselves some new allies. Kashwa, there's something I need to tell you and your people. We came here for no other reason than to strike down Zeral Jah. But I thought he was your brother. You really mean to kill your own kin? My kin invaded our nation and murdered our people. As vow of resolve, it falls to me to bring him to account. I'm prepared to do what I must, and I won't hesitate when the time comes. Like us, you and yours oppose Zoral Ja. In light of this, I propose that we work together to stop him once and for all. I realize that this is sudden, that it's a gamble to trust someone you've only just met. But I would trust in the conviction of anyone who shares my goal. So fight with me, I beg you. As you say, our goals align, and I don't doubt your resolve at the least. If you hadn't proposed working together, I would have done so instead. Truth be told, it's been tough going at it alone. While we've gathered ample intelligence, we don't have the strength to take decisive action. Besides, how could we not trust you? My only son is with you. My fussy little bun-bun. He's all the reason I need. That is decided. Here's to a fruitful collaboration. Thank you, Kashua, everyone. Together, we'll achieve great things, I'm sure of it. Let's not waste any time. We've been wondering about Zoral Ja's whereabouts. Is there a palace inside that tower? After a fashion, the king resides on the uppermost level, but while Queen Sphene has a penchant for going out in public, he seldom shows himself. What's more, his movements are highly classified. Not even his commanders are privy to that information. If anyone knows where he is at any given time, it could only be the Queen. Even if we don't know his whereabouts, Zoral Ja will eventually march on Tuliolal again. That's when we can go after him. The drawback is we'd have to wait for an invasion to happen. Innocents would be put in harm's way. There's also the possibility that he'll leave everything to his minions and not command the army in person. No, he'll take the field. What makes you so certain? My brother has always yearned to surpass our father. That's why he attacked Tuliolal. After waiting for 30 years, the first thing he wanted to do was demonstrate his newfound strength. But killing Papa didn't satisfy him. So now he's bent on proving himself stronger than me and Quona, who bested him in the right of succession. He challenged me to strike him down. He wants a duel to show everyone that he's superior to the Dawn Servant, and he won't let his minions deprive him of the pleasure. Then why hasn't he appeared and given you your chance? Surely he's aware of our presence here. Well, he specifically told us to come to him, Alizé. At that, I can only guess. Perhaps he wants to dazzle us with his wondrous realm. But if he won't deign to appear, then we'll force him to do so. Even as we gather intelligence, we make no move to attack him. Show absolutely no interest in a confrontation. Knowing him, he'll tire of waiting and turn his attention to Quona instead. He'll attack Tuliolal again, like he said he would. I see. If you believe this is the best approach, then we have no objections. Any campaign against Tuliolal requires that Zoral Ja lead his forces through Vanguard. We'll have lookouts keep an eye on it day and night. Such strategy is certainly viable. If we're proceeding with it, though, we should warn those outside. Indeed, they'll need time to prepare their defenses. I should be glad to coordinate our efforts. I'm already in regular contact with the Stola, and will make sure to keep our comrades apprised of developments. You can leave Vanguard to us. We'll send word at the first sign of movement. It seems we have a plan. While we wait for Zoraljah to move, you do well to prepare for battle, and it begins with familiarizing yourselves with the technology that empowers him. To that end, I'll show you to Oblivion's main headquarters. Oh, I thought this place was it. You'll be impressed to know that we're located right inside the tower, in the residential district of Solution 9. Hiding a tree in the forest, as it were. The only question is how to get you through the checkpoint. About that, Sphene said that she'd make it so we could enter without issue. She did. Curious. She's not supposed to have authority over the sentries. If I recall correctly, her words were that she would register us as guests. I see. Perhaps we're in the clear then. When you're ready, come and meet me at the tower entrance. Before you head out, give us a moment to introduce ourselves properly, eh? After all, names are good to know when working together. Okay, I thought for a second that it was just going to happen off screen. I guess we're going to talk to him and then he'll introduce himself. Trial says, is it just me or are Arenville and Kashua complete opposites in personality?
I'm in the next cutscene. I was trying to click the twin behind him and I clicked on him instead, so
Gotcha.
you don't have to wait for me.
Oh, here I go. While Oblivion has operatives all over, we're the main crew here. I'm Geode, the leader of this hideout. And the dependable young twins behind me are Nostalgia and Wayakwi. I'm Nostalgia. It's a pleasure to meet you. My sister and I were born and raised inside the barrier. We've been with Oblivion for 3 years. Our main duties are surveillance and provisioning. Twins, eh? That explains the resemblance. Wayakwi is a Tonawawatan name, unless I'm mistaken. That's right. Our mother is Tuliolan and our father is Alexandrian. They wanted to honor both cultures. They're beautiful names. Thank you. Though I have no memories of my mother, I like to think I carry a part of her with me. So what made you decide to join Oblivion? I would imagine because they deleted your mother. Oh, okay. We wanted to avenge our father. Ambrose was his name. And years ago, he was taken away after a scuffle with a soldier over a disagreement. It was a minor incident, so at first we clung to the hope that he'd be released. But when months went by and no word from or about him, we made the decision to remove our regulators. We had already lost the memories of our mother. We didn't want to lose those of our father as well. They've all forgotten him now. Everyone who had known him. Bastard. Even here he thinks nothing of his own people. Sometime later, we were approached by a member of Oblivion, hoping to get justice for our father. We joined the Order. Sorry, didn't mean to darken the mood. No, I appreciate you sharing this. Together, we'll avenge your father. Thank you. Something tells me you have what it takes. You introduce yourself too. Go on. I'm it's pretty much the same story for me. And while mine is a Tonawawatan name, I haven't the faintest how things are outside the barrier. It's my dream to go and see it with my own eyes, our mother's homeland. Once peace is restored, you must come and visit. The wilds are beautiful, the food is delicious, and everyone is so nice. You'll love it. And that's us here. You'll meet others in the back room. That's our headquarters. Some of them are a little eccentric, but they have good hearts. Oh, Elin Shipra, one last thing. It isn't exactly my place to say this, but thank you for seeking out Kashwa. She talks about you so much it's clear how important you are to her. That's all. Be good to your mother while you still can, eh? Well, we'll let you go now. Feel free to use this hideout as you like. And have some cake. Meanwhile, in Everkeep,
You've been consulting with Wuk Lamat. No matter. I do not know what you are scheming, but when your realm lay on the brink, you were powerless. You had no choice but to turn to me. Whatever sentiment you may feel for her, it is my power you require. Is it not?
Perhaps. And yet, knowing the love that Wuglamat bears for her people, how she regards them all as kin, I cannot help but wish to spare her the same pain I have suffered. What's more, her friends possess new knowledge. Were we to work together, we might find another path. I know you're loath to consider it, but is there no hope for peace with Tuliolo? What we've already done may be unforgivable, but it needn't continue. You needn't kill your brother and sister.
I slew my only flesh and blood. Yet you attempt to sway me with an appeal to family. The memory of my father's final moments still fills me with disappointment. Age came for him before I did. For long years, I sought to prove the miracle. And weak as he was, defeating him achieved nothing. To kill them is my only recourse. Wuklamat and Kona, who bested him as he was in his prime.
They are still your siblings, even if not by blood. That such bonds should mean so little to you.
I am bound to no one. Serve none save myself. I made that clear when first you spoke to me in the Golden City. Remember, I can easily kill your beloved family. If you would protect them, cast aside any foolish notions. Your wisdom and abilities are valuable insofar as our goals align. So think well before you act, Queen of Reason. Wuklamat, if you are father's worthy successor, then you will find your way to me. But should you fall short, I will lay waste to Tuli Yolal.
What now?
I only just noticed all the NPCs' heads track to follow me.
Mm-hmm.
Even if I'm not clicking or talking to them, they're always staring straight at me. Right. Kashua's waiting. Let's head to the tower. And my current guess is that Safine is the system. And the problem is that they have a the total number of souls is constantly depleting. And they need Zoralja to replenish it.
Yeah.
And I'm somewhat at a loss of how to get out of this little river I've got myself stuck into, other than teleporting.
That's all right. We can pick up those other 2 quests. Aetheryte quests. Aetheryte? Yeah.
Pardon me, adventurer, but might I trouble you to lend me your aid? I found myself in a rather troublesome predicament. Earlier today, we were sent a soldier and asked to test out its improved combat functionality. I asked a hunter to take it out on patrol, but not long afterwards I lost contact with them completely. I know the signal is weak out there, but I can't help but worry something might have gone terribly wrong. From the look of you, you can handle your fair share of danger, yes? Could you go out to the Thunder Yards and see if you find them for me?
Dang it, that's just where we came from, dude.
Uh-huh.
That's how they always do it.
I'm looking at the reward, and mesquite doesn't come in juice. And as I'm reading the description over on the right, I'm pretty sure mesquite doesn't have beans. Oh, Shallow, what am I going to do with you? I keep telling you to take a hunter with you when you leave town. Oh, well, if it isn't Her Majesty's guest. Did you enjoy your tour of Uyepi's Halo? I was told you even helped with set the water distribution system to rights. You know, I could really use someone with your talents right about now. The woman in charge of that very farm just left for the wilderness without a bodyguard. Seems to me she's investigating something, but that's no reason to put herself in danger. Last I heard, she was seen walking up a hill to the east of the farm. Could you go and make sure she's all right? Oh, what a relief. You're looking for a young Shitona by the name of Shaloki. Now, off you go. Thank you, dear.
Thank you.
And the quest markers are right next to each other. You saved my life. For a moment there, I thought I'd have to use my regulator. Now, I somehow doubt an adventurer like you just so happened to be passing through. That researcher sent you to find me, didn't he? I better go back and explain what happened. You may as well come and join me. I'm sure he'll want to know you're safe. Nope, I got another red circle to investigate. Godspeed good, that was the last of my soul cells. I could have really died there. Thanks for your help, by the way. So, what brings you out here to the middle of nowhere? Auntie Nakente sent you after me. That makes two people who just saved my life then. Would you mind coming with me to see her? I want her to know I'm safe and grateful besides. Alright, Square, I kind of have to call a little bit of foul on these quests. These are the same quest.
What quest?
The two quests we're doing right now.
Yeah.
I mean, the quest givers are about as far apart as the two quest circles were.
Yeah.
The hunter told me everything. From the bottom of my heart, thank you for taking such swift action. These soldiers require energy gathered from lightning, and yet lightning also proves to be their weakness, Apparently, it took a nasty jolt in the Thunder Yards and went berserk. Honestly, why are they tinkering with offensive output when they could be correcting this glaring flaw in design? Rest assured, the engineer in charge will hear all about this in my report. Sorry for the trouble. I hope this small token will suffice as compensation.
It's because the guy who was working on it ended up dying from the electricity, and he never got to tell anybody, and they erased everybody's memory and his. You know, I mean, it's a nasty ongoing cycle.
Welcome back, dear. I can't thank you enough for rescuing this poor reckless fool of a girl. You're not a child anymore, Shallow. Act your age. Now what do you say to the kind stranger who saved your life? I know I've already told you once before, but thank you, truly. I'm Shaloki, and I'm in charge of UFB's Halo. To tell the truth, I'm still learning how everything works. I used to be an electrope engineer, but for some reason the government reassigned me. And I'm Nakente, the farm's coin keeper, or resident nag, depending on who you ask. Might we get your name, hero? Rolls right off the tongue, doesn't it? That's a name you'd best not forget, Shalo. You'd be dead were it not for him. Now, why in the world would you leave the safety of the outskirts all by yourself? You've been acting so strangely of late. It's clear you're hiding something, so what is it? There really is no getting anything past you, is there? Fine, I'll explain. But you have to promise to keep it secret for now, alright? The truth is, I noticed the farm's harvests have been shrinking, year over year, and I can't for the life of me figure out why. The staff are all doing great work, and as a former engineer, I could say for certain that the equipment is all in proper working order. I even checked the pylons, and their readout was totally normal. But I know there's a problem, and the longer we wait, the worse it will get. In a few years, the crops may stop growing entirely. Something has to be done. Well, it sounds serious, and I appreciate you for taking the initiative to solve it. But I worry about you, Shalo. I can't have you putting your life in danger. Would you be willing to look into the matter? As an outsider, your idea of normal is sure to be different from ours. I reckon a fresh set of eyes will be able to spot something we can't. She's right. I could certainly use an unbiased perspective. Would you please help me? Right then. Well, that's settled. I think what you two need is I think what you two need now is a good meal. Have a seat, and your Auntie Nakente will fix you up with some fresh veggies. Or a bottle of bean juice, which is what you actually gave us. Mesquite flavored bean juice. I might actually come back and do that quest myself later, just because I have a theory.
Me too. Can I tell you mine, and then you tell me yours? And
sure.
And then you find out, because I don't know if I'll actually come back. My theory is that the population is getting too low, so they're like just closing off the food that they actually need. And yeah, and the souls are running out also, so they can't keep up the population as it is. Anyways, that's
kind of where I was going. My theory is that everything in this place runs on the soul energy. And as they are running low on soul energy, they can dedicate less of it to growing crops. So the crops count is going down.
Okay. I had that in the back of my head also. It's like, is this their main source? But then so was that, no, you said it earlier. Yeah.
I was a little concerned when we first encountered, I can't remember her name now, but Wuklamat's mother.
Yeah.
I was afraid we were running into a kind of Logan's Run moment here. She's too old. Time for her to be processed into food.
Yep. Stonian Green. But then I got the whole feeling of the energy thing when the robots were attacking the first time they attacked, and I seen them sucking the souls. I was like, are they using that with energy back at camp or base, whatever?
Yeah.
Way.
Ah, there you are. If Queen Sphene has registered you as guest, you should be able to march right in. And if she hasn't, then you may have a swarm of Zor-El-Jah's minions to deal with. Nothing for it but to see if Sphene has betrayed us, eh? Well, I mean, Sphene did say it would take some time, but... Thank you for your diligent service, friends. My companions and I would like to pass, if you would be so kind. Outrunner Guide Unit identified. Registration number verified. 6 accompanying civilians identified. Verifying credentials. Credentials verified. Welcome, guests of Queen Sphene. Yeah, what a relief. There you have it. Seems the Queen was true to her word. Follow me, everyone. Solution 9 awaits.
Everkeep, a tower of electrope piercing a perpetual shroud of storm clouds. Occupying the 9th level of this 12-tiered structure is a residential district called Solution 9. In so naming their home, what hopes did its founders harbor for it? And did it prove the answer they sought?
I know that place is really big and open, like the
There are more districts throughout the tower, including
Emmett's
industrial
place
ones.
was.
But Solution 9 is the
The
largest.
walkways, the hall, which
Just being here makes my head spin.
Perfectly natural reaction. A city of shimmering electrope, replete with strange technologies that cater to every conceivable need. We never dreamed of the light back home in Tuliolo. Now, while I go and explain the situation to those in the back room, why not take... I believe lived experiences are far more educational than dry and you want to know more about Sphene and Zoralja's dominion, do you not?
I had a feeling you'd...
Just to confirm, while we have been allowed inside... Oh,
Absolutely. As Sphene's registered guest, you'll find you're exempt from the sentry scrutiny. The elevator to the uppermost level. I wouldn't go near that. But other areas should be fine provided you act like you belong.
All right then. We'll show ourselves around.
yes. Familiarizing ourselves with the technology here will help us prepare for the battles to come.
Try not to enjoy yourselves too much, or you're liable to attract attention.
Once you've explored to your satisfaction, come to the entrance to True View in the eastern sector. The way from there is a little complicated, so I'll send someone to guide you.
Understood. We'll see.
I shall speak with the residents. Perhaps one of them will recognize the earring.
What's with this place? How can this all be the inside of a tower?
So, what aren't you telling me? Where are you?
That, I can't reveal yet. Precautions, you understand. Just know that I'm... But come, tell me about your adventurer friend. You seem to have a great deal of faith in him. You must have been through a lot together.
You might say that. For instance, we found the entrance to the Golden City.
Wait, what? You did? Eleanor, why didn't you mention this sooner?
You want to explore together? It's not that I'm scared or anything. Everything is just...
All right, guys, I believe that is where we will call it for today. And I'll see y'all next time. Until then, I want to thank y'all for joining me. Hope y'all enjoyed it. I'll see y'all next time. And have a good night.